Welcome back to the Let's Glow Show. It's Amanda Sweet, the creative fairy godmother, and I help people get fly, make friends, and save the world through community. And on the Let's Glow Show, we get to talk to creative entrepreneurs all over Metro Detroit, Michigan, and beyond about their journey, how they got here, tips and tricks to life. And today I might do a couple special things and see if it works. And if it works, we're keeping it in the show. Anyway, today we have a beautiful guest with us. I know that the conversation today is going to be filled with not only tips and tricks for work and business, but also for life, your empathy, your bandwidth, your energy, all of the things. So I would love to welcome to the stage Ashley Burton-Mims. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You just did a beautiful intro. So tell the world what you do.
So I am the founder and CEO of Emerald and Rose Consulting. And we do, now that I've been in business for a little bit, we do a lot. Uh, but our main thing is empowering women who are experiencing burnout to prioritize themselves. So we do that through one-on-one coaching. So in the coaching, we go through and do some level setting. So where are you at? What's going on? What are your pain points? And then what are your goals? And we work through those goals. So one of my most successful clients went from working 7 days to 4 days. And she even wasn't able to incorporate a full day to herself every week, non-negotiable. So super proud of her.
Yes.
We also do community-based workshops. We just had one wrap last week called Joy Over Hustle, where we talked about the difference between joy and happiness and how to incorporate joy, pleasure, and play into your day every day. Because it's a huge part of healing when we really have gotten lost and forgotten to focus on ourselves. I also do workshops for hire for organizations. So that's also been really fun. We have a couple coming up this fall. And I created a leadership framework because I was a corporate girly for almost 20 years and realized part of the reason that burnout happened for me is the leadership structure in place and just more systemic things that we'll get into as we're chatting, but creating a framework that leads with heart-centered work, which I know most of us aren't used to hearing or seeing, but it's so needed and necessary
What
to
does
really.
heart-centered work mean?
Oh, so we're talking about things that are more emotional intelligence focused. So my Instagram handle is Burn Bright Night Out. My tagline for my business is Burn Bright Night Out. And the framework is called BRIGHT. So the acronym is boundaries, rest, intention, grace, honesty, and tribe. So yeah, nobody's really talking about that at work, but we should, because all
Yes.
of those tenets are really important in combating burnout and really bringing your human self to work and not just your I'm a number, just a head count to work.
Okay, so you built this business because you experienced burnout, but what was that in between like where you're like, "Oh,
Ooh.
I have burnout. I know this now." Like, or even before you knew it, like what was that in between place? Because I feel like that's where I'm at. I'm in this place where I'm like, I know that this is the direction I need to go. I'm used to this full-time work for someone else and hustle on the side. And I'm trying to lean my way over here, but I'm like, we'll talk about it. But I'm just like, this middle part, we
And
don't talk about this middle part.
the middle part is the healing and it's the hardest. So the middle part is really hard because what you're saying and what I experienced, actually, I was talking to one of my good friends about this yesterday, is the awareness. So it's like I have the awareness of what burnout is and what it looks like, and I don't want to be over there. That's trash. I was sick over there. I was not myself. I don't even recognize that person.
Right.
But I'm also not over here either. I'm somewhere here focused on my healing so I don't get back to this place. So that part, I'm still in that part.
Okay. You see, it seemed like from the outside looking in, you're like, you got your work. When I met you, you walked into Bamboo. A lot of our beautiful stories start like this. You walk into Bamboo and you're like, what's going on over here? I want to meet people. I want to do stuff. And then like I look you up and you're just like in articles, magazines, doing workshops at Aya House, like doing all this stuff. And I'm like, she's got it all figured
Yeah, it's all part of the healing though, right? So,
Yeah.
as I've been crafting my story, I'm like, I burned out for the last time in 2023. And I remember doing a workshop just a couple months ago, and somebody that I worked with a little bit, she was like, so how long does it take to recover? And I'm like, I don't know. Because it's going to be different for everyone, and healing looks different for everyone. And the work that we're talking about isn't therapy, right? Like your therapist is talking about your childhood wound, your mother wound, and we're peeling back all the layers. Like this is more goal oriented and like actionable steps that we can incorporate that are sustainable, and that looks very different.
Mm.
And so well, I shouldn't say very different, like in tandem with therapy, right? But your therapist is going to work with you more slowly and gently in that way to get your healing. Hopefully, this is making sense.
Yeah,
But
it's
your
because
healing
I'm
process.
like, part of me is like, I've been doing so much work about my inner child, and I feel like my inner adolescence and my current self are getting neglected. And I'm like, the current self, the story that I've been telling and the story I'm asked to tell on stages is the story that I tell, but it's like I was 20 something. I was like 14. I was like teenager, 20, 25. And I'm like, so much has happened since then. And there's so much story in there, but also like I'm in it. And right now, I'll just share, I feel like I'm a really bad boss. Like I'm like, you need to work harder, you need to do more, you need to do, working from the time I did that. So I did that in July. July, I was stuck in my 9 to 5, even though I didn't have to do 9 to 5. I was also avoiding the work that I had to do, but I was still sitting at my desk from 9 to 5, and I wouldn't get up and leave and go into another room until 5 o'clock hit, and still only did like 4 hours worth of work. And I was like reprimanding myself, getting angry with myself, like overthinking the work I did do, the work that I didn't do. And August 1st hit, and I was like, okay, wait, I don't need to do that.
You don't.
I don't have this schedule. I tried moving it around, and so now we're here in the early September, and I'm like, okay, we flipped it on its head a couple times. We tried a couple things. I'm feeling a little bit more like myself, but still feeling like, when does it stop feeling so weird? I don't know.
So thank you. Because one of the things that I love that you're highlighting is the transition time where we go from like we had this purpose before and we're not quite in the next purpose and we're in this like in between. And that part is really difficult.
Mm,
I'll share a little bit of my story. This happened to me almost a year ago.
mm,
So I launched my business and I was still working my corporate job full time. And I like work with my therapist on like my exit strategy. She's like, "Oh, you're good. You're in maintenance." I was like, "Yes, finally." And then maybe like a week later, I had a debilitating panic attack, and
mm.
I was like, I thought I was good.
Right.
But in like peeling back the layers as to why I had a panic attack, it was because of my purpose. Like my purpose had, even though that job was toxic, that industry was toxic, I still had a very high sense of purpose there. And
Mm,
now I'm like, okay, I left that, but my businesses exist, but like I don't have clients yet. I don't have anything booked yet. I needed to take the time in between the two spaces to just be. But what is that? That
mm.
doesn't feel safe. Like, this
No.
doesn't feel like I have a routine or a purpose. And it was something so trivial that triggered it. Like,
Mm.
I have a bonus son, and he came in our room and he's like, I can't find my pants for school. And I'm like, oh no, like, I think I just did his laundry, but I don't think I dried it. He
Ugh.
can't go to school because he don't have pants. I mean, I'm having a full meltdown. I'm like going downstairs trying to dry some pants for girl. It was the whole thing. By the time I came back upstairs, he's like, "Oh, I found pants," but I was fully like crying in a fetal position in my bed, like, "Oh,
Oh, I don't mean to laugh at you, but I
oh
resonate with the
no,
feeling.
it's it is extremely laughable at this point. But when it happened, I was like, what? Like couldn't take them to school that day. My partner had to take them to school. But like I needed that kind of like wake up call to say like, Ashley, it's okay. You don't have to have everything figured out today. Like you live in a society that values productivity, that values burnout, that values you pushing and pushing and pushing. Like, God forbid you're like laying in a hammock in your backyard or having a slow morning. Like, that's unheard of. But that's actually what we need to heal. We need to slow down. We need to do nothing. You and I have talked about this. When we say that we're doing nothing, what are we actually doing, right? Because it's not that we're doing nothing. We're just doing less, and we need to do less. So I hope that helps in the transition period to free you and anybody who's listening. Like there is this transition period where we are going from like one purpose or identity to the next, and we have to give ourselves grace during that time and ask for help.
I think the identity piece and the transition piece, all of it is really resonating with me because like I'm having these bubble up feelings and we're basically doing a coaching session. So I'm having these bubble up feelings and I'm like, what is the point? The world is ending. It's burning. It's falling apart around me with my, with people that I know and then like the world at large. And I'm like, what is even the point? And I'm having this thought and I'm like, I'm not really the one that's supposed to be doing XYZ, whatever that is. And my business that I'm making is not making me as much money. So it's quote unquote not as valuable as my day job. So I should just go back and get a day job. And like, I'm fighting this and I'm going back and forth. And I'm like, so I told you today, I was like, okay, like last night, I've had this microphone since I started the podcast. I used it once, it didn't work, and I never touched it again. We're on episode, I think like 66, 67. Okay. I've had these headphones in my backpack this whole time. And then, so I was like, let me set it up. Let me try it. Let me do the thing. Let me take an extra 10 minutes. And then this morning I was like, I'm going to do black eyeliner. I know it's a big deal, but when I didn't do black eyeliner for the first time, because I've been doing black eyeliner since I started doing my makeup, which was like when I was like 11, 10, 11. I stole my mom's black eyeliner from her. She had a whole bunch of it. So I'm like black eyeliner, but I stopped doing it when I was challenging myself at Bamboo, and I was embracing this new version of myself. And so like this morning, I'm like, okay, curls are going to go backwards instead of forwards. I'm going to do a black eyeliner just to like, I don't know, like I had a dream where I had long hair. So I'm like, okay, I need to just like listen to my body saying like something needs to change. Because like my body is telling me things like with pain and sensory. And then also my brain is like, do something different. Do something different. And I'm like, oh, thank God Ashley is the person I'm interviewing today because she'll understand.
Absolutely.
Where I'm coming from.
I love that. Keep telling yourself to do something different. That's really powerful. Because it feels good. And sometimes it only doesn't feel good just because it is different and we haven't done it before. It feels a little scary, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't. And you're listening to your body and your intuition, and that is so beautiful. And I think that's one of the best gifts that comes from healing from burnout is the ability to daydream, to listen to our intuition, to really have a heightened sense of discernment, because our body is in a more I can't think of the word right now, but in a more not natural state, but
regulated.
It's a more regulated state. Thank you. That is exactly the word I was looking for.
Perfect.
So yes, we're more regulated. So that is one of the things that I know for me has been the most exciting. It's like, oh, I get to daydream. I get to set my own schedule. I get to do this.
Yeah. And you were mentioning that you're doing another thing and you're adding on. So I would love to know what the thing you're adding is, and I would love to know why. And then I have a follow-up question after you share that.
Yes. So I am going to become a postpartum doula. And it's interesting because that was one of came from a daydream, came from a visualization that I've always been passionate about our maternal health, as especially as Black women and people of color. Like, we're dying for very preventable things. We are not being advocated for, we're not being listened to when we're in that space. But what I also recognize is people really, really focus on your first through third trimester. And then it's like you get home with the baby, y'all are all strangers. And then it's like
Mm-hmm.
people don't know how to support, people don't know how to ask for help. And that's totally normal and okay. But I'd love to change that. I would say for me, I remember two things when I went on maternity leave. I was like, I'm not a homebody. I don't want to stay at home. And I was living in New York, the New York City area at the time. And I want to sleep. I was like, I know babies don't sleep or whatever, but I want to
Mm-hmm.
sleep. And I was really blessed to find this new mom support group,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a game changer. We got together in community once a week. It was at a yoga studio. Bring your baby, and it was really
Oh.
cool because people were there with newborns to like maybe 18 months. So we're learning from each other. We're talking to each other in this really structured environment. And so as I was doing my visualization, I was like, man, that was such a healing place. But it also gave me community and made me not feel alone.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're up at 4 o'clock in the morning with your baby, your homegirl is asleep.
Yeah.
She is not like
Yeah.
gonna FaceTime you. But if you have made friends with other moms, they may be available. They
Mm-hmm.
even if you're just texting someone. So just really understanding the importance of community and how we do kind of talk about postpartum when we're talking about postpartum depression, but
Mm-hmm.
we're not talking a lot about how to support people during postpartum. Everybody's just like, let me come over and see the baby. And it's like,
Right.
actually, you could come over and hold the baby and maybe wash some dishes or cook a meal or let mom take a nap or a shower or something, and talk about mom or the
Yeah.
birthing parent, whoever that is, however they identify. Like, let's have those conversations.
Mm-hmm.
So I was definitely inspired by my own journey. Something we didn't talk about is that I also am writing a book. um, I know. And so the book has been a baby in my brain since I had my daughter. She's
Mm.
12. Uh, so also like getting like that inspiration now that I'm in my entrepreneurial journey of saying like, how do all these things tie together? Because the crux of like what we're talking about is empowering women, right, who are
Mm-hmm.
experiencing burnout. Trust me, as a new parent, it is exhausting and lonely, isolating, very similar to how people feel when they're experiencing burnout. So it to me was like a direct line. It's in alignment with my values. It's in alignment with the work that I foresaw myself doing as being like either a patient advocate or something of that sort. So I'm really excited to learn and get to do this work and build community in this space.
Oh, we need it. We need it, and we need it to be you. We need you to share. And I'm thinking of all these people that I can send to you like immediately.
Oh,
One of my husband's cousin, they just had twins. First babies, twins. They're 4 months old. And they're just like every time I see her, she's like, I'm trying this, I'm trying that. And she's doing all these things which are beautiful. But I'm like, I don't know. She's like, none of my friends have kids,
yeah.
And I'm like, I don't have kids either. Like, I can't help in that department. Like, I can show up for you, but like I don't understand because I don't have
It's
children.
Yes, I totally get it. It is, and you're just trying stuff and like,
Yeah.
yeah, Google this or that, but like, if you don't know what you don't know. So, and I'll share like a couple of things that happened like for my daughter. She did this thing called cluster feeding. Yeah, I didn't know what that was. And
I
I was
literally
like,
never heard it till just now.
yeah. So I nursed her exclusively, and like I nurse her and they say like oh, they don't need to eat again for however many hours. Well, it would be like 45 minutes. And I'm like, why does she need to nurse again? And it would happen mainly at night, and it was exhausting. And I was really fortunate. I didn't have a postpartum doula, but my birth doula came for a postpartum visit. And I was like, hey, I'm nursing her. She seems like she's fine, but then she wants to nurse again. And I can't do this anymore. And I don't want to give her formula. I'm just like, And she's like, oh, that sounds like cluster feeding. Like some people have like an oral fixation. And it's not that they want to nurse, but she wants that like sucking feeling or sensation. Give her a pacifier next time she does that. And I was like, I thought we weren't supposed to give babies pacifiers, right? No.
They're a tool for a reason.
It's a tool for a reason. So the next time it happened, I gave her a pacifier. It was great. It worked out well for her. And she ended up being a finger sucker. So like, how was I supposed to know?
Right.
All of this, because like nobody's talking about this. I wouldn't even know how to look it up.
Yeah.
Because it is something that I didn't have words for, but somebody that's an expert knows like, okay, this is a sign of this, and try this instead. So just being able to have someone in your corner in your life to call on for things like that is invaluable.
I'm curious about how you maintain your like regulated life system while adding more certifications and more work to your plate. Like I mentioned before, I will work myself into the ground. It's like what I've been taught. I'm trying to change that. But now you're like, okay, I'm adding an element to my business. I finally got my business in the place I want it to be. Add more things and add a book. How do you maintain your regulated like experience while also adding on top of it?
Yes. So I love this question because I had to be intentional about what I was adding. So it had to be an ad that would only enhance what I'm already doing. So in this space, for the postpartum doula, I was still technically, any time that I would have done one-on-one coaching, same thing. Any time that I'd be doing a workshop, hosting a new mom support or a new parent support group, right? So it would take up the exact same spot on my calendar or timing on my calendar. And then the book is actually a collection of short stories that are user submitted or friend submitted, however you want to word that. So I'd love for you to share your story.
I'd love to.
So
I'm like, I don't know what part I'm in, but I'll share whatever you need me to share.
All of them, whatever is placed in your heart as a birthing person. So I love that question though, because it needs to be asked. Because I know like in May when my unemployment stopped, I was like, I gotta get these, I gotta chase the bag. Like I gotta, we can't be out on the streets. Like I gotta do everything now. And the amount of people that checked on me and they were like, so we saw that you were doing a lot. And I was like, yes, you're right. Yes. But that was like the spirit of fear leading me, and versus like the spirits of abundance. And I really need to sit in that abundance space, right? And remember to have that mindset that I attract and things are going to come to me. So I love that you asked that question, because yes, initially I was just like, I need to be booked and busy. And I was just like, no, I just need to be booked. Like I don't need to be booked and busy. I just need to be booked. That's it.
Oh my goodness. So I'm curious, and I don't know if other people are curious too, but like, what does your day or what does your schedule look like? Just like, I want to hear an example of someone who, excuse me, who's actively practicing like rest at like, what does it look like? Because in my mind and the people I'm surrounded by, they're just like, okay, get up, eat breakfast, go to work, or get up, work out, eat breakfast, go to work, and then I come home and then do work and I do more work and it's work. And I'm just like, okay, like, does anybody else? Like, I need to see
if you're not working, what are you doing?
Right, exactly. Working on something, which if it brings you joy and it's fun and it's a different for me, I love this is my craft room. So like over here, I got my crafts. I'm ready for like winter, like hibernation season to come. So I can like go in, make a bunch of things, come out, and be like, look at all the stuff I made. But I'm kind of curious, like day to day, what it looks like. How are you putting it in? And then like week to week, how are you putting it in?
Yes. Okay, I love this question. So, it's just me, solopreneur over here wearing all the hats.
Yes.
So, uh,
That
that
part
is
too.
that part. So for me, I have to have some really healthy boundaries in place. So I have two kiddos that I do have to take to school in the morning. Thankfully, my partner was able to take them to school this morning. But they get themselves up. I'm like, put some clothes on, like make sure that you're good.
Mm-hmm.
Because like mommy doesn't need to do that for you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You are old enough and you know what's expected of you. So make sure you're good. So by the time I wake up, 9 times out of 10, they're already ready for
Good.
school. So
Good.
I roll out the bed, whatever's crusty looking, put something on that's not, you know, I don't need to be presentable. I just
Right.
need to have some
To be
clothes
clothed.
on, just some clothes on. And I take them to school and I come back home. Most of the time I come back home. Sometimes I'll go um, driving around. I like to look at houses.
I love that.
Sometimes I'll grab a coffee and a drive through though, because I'm
Yeah.
not dressed to like do anything
We
else
did this on
intentionally.
purpose. We're not going anywhere specific.
We
Like,
are not going anywhere other than to take these beautiful folks to school. But I come back home and I really don't engage with the world before 10. Really, this summer was 11, because I need that time for myself. And it looks different every day. So yesterday, actually, yesterday I did something new. I'm very excited to share this with you. So I came home. I was listening to my audiobook. I got back in bed. Still kind of upright. And I
mhm.
was like, okay, now it's time for something to eat. And I was like, oh, I can eat this in my bed. Like breakfast in bed, that's a thing.
Yes.
And I came back and I'm still listening to my book, ate my breakfast. I'm texting my friend like Celsius or coffee. And she
I
was
love it.
like, coffee, and I was like, yeah, coffee is better because the act of preparing the coffee, you got to turn on the
It's ritual.
water,
Yeah.
and yeah, there's the ritual to it. And I have like
Mhm.
4 different kinds. Let me smell them. Let me do all this, right, and then make my coffee. And yesterday I connected with a friend who's also an entrepreneur. So I make that time in my week every week to connect with at least 2 or 3 other entrepreneurs, and we just talk really like this. So it's thought
Yeah.
partnership. It's is what's going on with you, what questions do you have. Sometimes it feels like a therapy session. It's
Mhm.
just a really beautiful time. So I did that yesterday. And I think we were supposed to talk for an hour. We talked for like maybe almost 2.5 hours. But there was a lot. We were talking about our doula work. We were talking about an abundance mindset. So
Mhm.
just nothing that needed to be cut off at a specific time.
Yeah.
But I also had an event last night. So I knew with my schedule, like, okay, I got to pick my kids up and go straight to this event. I cannot put anything else in my day
Mhm.
that is going to be like an exertion of energy that's not positive energy. So I
Mhm.
have to be really intentional about how my days look. Today I have similar. I'm starting my day with you before 10 and it's totally fine. Like
I'm
I was
so
telling you
grateful.
earlier, I love that I get to choose when I'm doing that. So I've already prepared my mindset. I asked
Mhm.
for help. Hey, take these kids to school. Love them, but like no, I'm meeting with Amanda this morning. And so
I feel so
we are
honored.
hanging out.
Yeah.
So I need your support in that. So just being intentional with my time, but also like leaving time for the pivots, leaving time for things to fall apart.
Mhm.
So I don't really start engaging with the world before 10. Um, I try not to book more than 3 things in one day,
Hmm.
to keep my calendar management pretty low. And then just looking forward to make sure, like, okay, if I'm going to an event where maybe I'm networking, I'm not
Mhm.
going to schedule really too much of anything else on that day, because that's going to be exhausting. That's going to exert
Mhm.
too much energy. But if I have like back to back, like hangout calls, like that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So just really being intentional about how I'm timing things, and really remembering, like, I get to say yes and I get to say no to things. That's super empowering, and like a great reminder that I don't have to say yes to
Mhm.
everything. And people have been pretty flexible when it comes to that. So it was scary at first, for sure. I'm like, I
Yeah.
just need to tell everybody yes.
Right, that's how I feel. I feel like that I had a season in my life where saying yes was a really big part of my healing and my learning and my experience with the world, and I was like, "I'm gonna say yes to every opportunity, I'm gonna say yes to everything," and it got me in some really amazing rooms and
Yeah.
projects and spaces, and now I feel like I went too far left
Mhm.
or right or whichever direction. And now I'm saying no, and it makes me wildly uncomfortable. And I'm noticing that. And I'm picking up things and I'm feeling it in the back of my mind and in my spirit where it's like, oh well, this person did this for you and you need to be able to go to their event. And I'm talking to my husband about it. And I'm like, I feel terrible that I can't go to these things and I don't have the energy to go to their event and they're coming to my event and I want to show love in the same way. And he's like, you can't be everyone everywhere all the time. You just can't. And he's
No.
like, "You're one person." And he's, like, always reminding me, he's like, "You're one person." He's like, "You got family things happening. You're managing that. You're managing this house. You're managing your business. You got an event coming up." I'm like, "I know, but, like, they would show up for me." And he's like, "But if they would show up for you because they love you, they'll understand why you can't show up right now."
And
And he's
he
like,
is
"And when you can,
so right.
you will." And I'm like,
Yes.
"I know, but it's like it's getting out of the habit of being like, yes, I will sacrifice my energy, my time, my mental capacity for you because I love you. And that is, I feel like at one point in my life, that was like my love language is like gift giving and like showing up and being
Yes.
like, how can I help you? What can I do? Da 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 da.
Yes.
And now I'm just like, I just don't even have the space for it right now. I just don't,
You
you
don't have
know?
the capacity, and that's
Yeah.
okay. Like, it's a season. These are all seasons,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
you don't have the capacity for that. And you shouldn't. Like, you're literally transitioning into full-time entrepreneurship, and that looks different. And honestly, there are going to be people around you who do understand, and then folks who don't understand. I
Mhm.
think I was really blessed to understand, like, I needed to surround myself with other entrepreneurs. And I
Mhm.
also needed to surround myself with entrepreneurs who are doing similar work,
Mhm.
because they get it and they could be my mentors now. Like, I have beautiful mentors from the corporate retail space that I still meet with.
Yeah.
But the ability for them to mentor and guide me looks different than me meeting with other entrepreneurs and saying, like, how do you do this? What are the tools you're
Mhm.
using for this?
Mm.
Ah, like,
Yeah. And, like,
um,
people came to mind when you said that, and I'm like, "Those are the people I need to call right now. Those are the people I need to, like, be texting and be like, 'Let's have dinner. Let's go do coffee. Let's do
yeah,
lunch,' and I need to be putting my energy there because I feel like I had this have this space with Bamboo where I'm technically contracted through November, and I've talked with Amanda, and I'm like, "Okay, if you need me a little longer," she's like, "We do. I know you're still getting the transition of your business because I was like, oh yeah, by November, I'll have all my shit figured out. I was like, I'm gonna have it together. I'm gonna say no to everything. I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna build it all from the ground up, host a swap in the middle of it. And it's just like life happened. And I'm like, here we
yeah,
are, September, and I'm just figuring out what time I'm supposed to wake up and go to bed. Like that's like, I haven't even had time to like build the fundamentals of the business that I wanted to. And I was like,
listen,
you know? So I'm like, okay, I do need more time. I would love more time. I could do Bamboo things in my sleep. It feels good. It gives me a different purpose on the day-to-day where I'm like, okay, I can chunk it here and do me here, or do me here and chunk it down here. So it's a slow roll out of this like 40-hour a week, but I thought I was going to have it all together in 2 to 3 months. I was wrong.
No. Take
I
that
was very
pressure.
wrong.
Take that pressure off yourself now,
Yes.
because I thought the same. I was like, oh, by the end of December I'll have all these clients and everything, and I was just like, oh, that's not how this works.
No.
People are
Okay, I
just
guess I'll just like
right, throwing themselves at me.
like I'll be like, stop. I'm only one person. I can't.
Yes,
But you know, I will
yes.
say I feel very blessed. Like I have consistently been getting work in fields that I'm curious about and things that I'm good at since going part-time. It was like I picked the camera back up. I'm doing a couple of closet and style. Like I part of my issue is that I don't exactly know what I want to be doing. You know, I'm like, okay, I know that the revamp is a thing. The revamp happens 4 times a year. If I'm waiting for my income 4 times a year, you know, what is the deeper, what is the one-on-one look like? What is the 1 on 10 look like? So experimenting with some of those things, and money has been coming in very easily, very often. Every time I need it, somebody's like, "Can I?" And I'm like, "Actually, yes, you can." You know, and it's been this like beautiful, like one at a time, this like, and because I'm also saying it, so I'm doing a closet clean out and a restyle for someone. So I'm going to go into their closet. I'm going to clean it out. We're going to do it before the swap so they can drop it all off there and experiment with some of the style elements that we build together in their closet. And I'm like, do I want to do this? I feel like I'm fighting this. And I don't know if you've experienced this, but I'm fighting this like version of who I'm supposed to be in my head with who I'm becoming. I'm like, this is what you're supposed to be. This is what this looks like. This like Meryl Streep, Devil Wears Prada, like, you know, at the top of the, right? This is the version that looks like success in mainstream media that I've been fed. Like, this is what you're supposed to be doing, where it's like, oh, I'm like going and hanging out in people's closets and they're paying me money to do it. Like, this doesn't look like this, but this feels
Yeah,
good,
it's
you know?
yes, I 100% get it, because we lived in this society that values having a blueprint. And
Mm-hmm.
so when there isn't a blueprint, or you're going against the grain, or you're doing something different, then internally you're like, people might think that I don't know what I'm doing. And
Yeah.
that's just, it's not the case. It's just a systemic thing. So it's us fighting against white supremacy and white
Yeah.
supremacist values that are really deep rooted in really everything that we've been shown or told that we can do, or acceptable forms of work.
Yeah.
But we gotta let that go,
Yeah.
because it doesn't serve us. It definitely doesn't serve us as women of color, because we're not meant to operate in that space. Like,
Mm-mm.
you first of all, you're a pillar in the community. You are very highly loved and adored, and so having this conversation is so beautiful too, because I think it will help people see like that you're also human. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. That
and
part.
that
And
you're like, yeah, and it's like we do go through that, where we're saying like, where's the blueprint, where is the roadmap for this, because I'm visualizing this feels good in my spirit, this feels good in my soul, but like I don't see anyone else really doing this thing, but I
mm-hmm.
know I can do this thing. And then
Mm-hmm.
the other thing, Amanda, that I think is really hard is like the monetization of our dope ass things, right? Like,
Right. Right.
where it's like, I'm doing this work and it's amazing work, and I know it's making an impact, but like, how come I'm not getting the monetary aspect of it that I would get if I went into my 9 to 5
Finance
job?
or yes, or as
Yeah.
an engineer, because I feel
Yeah.
like I have this, and I think whatever this blockage is, once I get through it, things will open up for me. But I feel like when people say that, oh, she's a fashionista or she's in fashion, I have this like visceral negative response to it because I'm like, well, fashion wasn't built for people who look like me. Fashion wasn't built for people who feel like are the size that I am, that look like I am, which is why I carved this path for myself that's in this like weird,
Yes.
thrifty, sustainable space. But I am in fashion. I am doing fashion work.
Absolutely.
But every time people say it and introduce me like that, oh, she's a stylist, she's this, she's that. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I am the founder of the revamp. Okay, what's the revamp? A
But you,
fashion swap festival. Like, you know what I mean? And so
yeah,
like whatever that blockage is, I think to your point, and now I'm like making some connections, it does feel, I don't want to blame this like other worldly thing, but like in my family, like you're an engineer, you're a doctor, you're a nurse, you want to go down these paths. These are the paths of success. Go to school, get a degree. These are the steps to success because this is what we've been told as a greater society. Then we look outside and it's like these are the people that are successful, not talking about people in fashion, right? And so I'm like, I don't want to be associated with fashion because if I do, people will look at me sideways or, and I've had it happen where I told one of my friends' dads, he was like, what are you working on? This has been my friend since we were in the 5th grade. He's like, what are you working on these days? You're always working on something. And I was like, oh, yeah, this is when I actually wanted to lean into styling. I was like, I'm a stylist. And he was like, oh, okay. And he just like stopped talking to me, which normally we'll go back and forth and talk about business for a while. And he was just like, okay, you really think that's going to make you any money? And I was like, it is making me money. You know what I
right.
mean? And
But
it just,
people,
go
they
ahead.
don't know. They don't know and they don't understand. And so in that unknown, they like want to tear you down. And no. No. Because it's like you actually don't know what you're talking about and I don't receive that. So it's getting to that place, which is really difficult to your point. Like as someone who very similar, it's interesting we're having this conversation about fashion. I have a fashion merchandising degree, but like I also don't consider myself a fashionista. But I loved the business of fashion and I loved the business of retail. And like my very nerdy analytical side was like, oh, this is really cool. I don't have to be a designer or a stylist or anything on that more creative side with clothing. But like I could tell you this projection for these. I used to work in lingerie, so these bras and panties, like I could tell you that.
Yeah.
And with confidence and with ease. And I can look at something and see, like, envision it like on me. Like, is it going to fit on me? Is it going to look good? Like, I have that skill. But yeah, I'm not just walking around like, oh, I'm going to style your whole wardrobe. You got that. I love that. But
I feel like go ahead.
Oh, but like, so how many people told me when I was 18, 19, well, why are you doing that? You should be going into IT. You should be going into like, you're not going to get paid to do that. And I was like, well, first of all, like, this is what I want to do. I've done all this research and I feel really confident about it. And so I'll show you. I'm definitely, I'll show you person.
I need to be, I'll show you, but to myself. I need to be like, I'll show you me that I can do this. Like, and I think it's more of like the positioning in my mind. And I like the way you said it. You said you're in the business of fashion. And and so like that part is for me, it's like, okay, maybe it's just the way I'm reframing it. Maybe it's the way I'm saying it. Maybe it's the way, because I'm like, oh, fashionista, I think of like TJ Maxx and like the, you know what I mean? Like,
yes, the Maximista, the fashion.
Yes, and I just don't want to be like, oh, she's in fashion. Because it's so much more than that. It is more than that. And I just need to find ways to communicate that feels good to my spirit. Because right now it doesn't feel good to my spirit, but I love the work that I'm doing. When I get to go into somebody's house and like cleanse them from all of this physical clutter that it's taking up mental and spiritual space for them, and take it out and watch them like actually look and feel like they lost weight. They're like, I feel like I lost 10 pounds. I'm like, you did. It's in these big old bags. I'm about to take them outside with me, and like, but then they actually feel lighter, feel brighter, and seeing their confidence come out and us like finding this like style North Star for them, I'm like, this is valuable work because this person gets to go out into their world feeling more confident in the positioning of themselves and taking up space and being brighter and being bolder and glowing in a different way. But like when I think about it in like the terms, I'm like, I don't like fashionista because that's not what I'm doing.
We're gonna have to
We'll workshop it.
workshop it because you're making an impact and it's so much bigger than that. I get what you're saying. It's such a limiting verbiage, and it's
And that's
like
why I use creative
I'm
fairy
making
godmother, you know,
yes,
because like Cinderella's experience is one thing, but then also like community activism is another thing. And like mothering this group of people that are finding their path through fashion or volunteering, a passion for volunteering through fashion. That's something that's accessible, touchable, something we have to do every day. So I think there is a workshop in my near future where I have to sit down and be like, what is it that I'm actually doing? And why is it that I feel weird about calling it fashion? Because it's what it is, you know?
I love that. Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. So I want to pivot a little bit. I've never done this on the show before. You're the first ever. Claim it, stake it in the ground. Let's say it here. If it works out well, amazing. If it doesn't, it was special just for you. Okay.
I love it.
So I have 3 decks in front of me. I would like you to pick 1, 2, or 3.
3.
Okay. We picked this deck right here. I'm just going to pull a card and we're going to just see what it brings up and see. This is more for the collective experience. Let me hear the shuffle here. I'm just like, I guess I would like you, Ashley, to ask the question that we want to discuss. Like, what is the energy that you are looking for?
I'm really sitting in this abundant space of like receiving it and really making sure that I'm not only
Keep going.
thinking about it in my mind, but also sharing that that's where I'm at right now.
Ooh, okay. Well, a card popped out and dropped on the floor, and we'll see what she is. The page of, will she focus? Page of Pentacles, which is Pentacles is talking about abundance. We're going to just read what it says, and then we're going to just we'll do a little deep dive on it. So Page of Pentacles says, I'm also very into tarot. I always want to learn more about it. I literally listen to tarot YouTube videos every single morning for my sun, moon, rising. So I'm like, this is exciting to me. So Page of Pentacles in the upright says, good news about finances. Wow. Okay. A hardworking, responsible youth with a mature attitude. This page can represent the need for a methodical approach when dealing with a cash crisis. The key to success is careful management to protect your long-term future.
Okay.
I mean, did we not just talk about that on this whole show? Like, literally, about protecting your peace, protecting your time, being intentional, not chasing the bag and letting the bag find you.
Yes.
Like, what does that make? What comes up for you when you hear that card description?
Well, first of all, I received that because yes. I like can you read the second line? I think it was.
Second line says, the key to success is careful management to protect your long-term future.
Yeah. And I'm like, ooh, because this business that I built is a legacy business. Like it's Emerald and Rose. So Emerald is my birthstone, Rose is my daughter's middle name. And so this is not going anywhere. And so I love that and that challenge almost, like to be intentional for the long term. And it's interesting because old Ashley, corporate Ashley, would think that meant 401k. But no, I'm like, ooh, yes, we're building a legacy here to honor those who came before us.
Mm.
Emerald is my birthstone and my grandmother's birthstone. And Rose, like I said, is my kiddo's middle name. So honoring our future as well. So I really received that. I'm challenged.
I'm like, I'm looking at the card, and this person feels very comfortable, adorned, proud, but only holding one pentacle. And I feel like there's a lot of cards where there's a lot of small pentacles on the card. Also, there's four pentacles like here, 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 and here. But this individual is holding one
Just one.
pentacle, and it's big and it fills up their whole hand. And the other hand is not grabbing for anything. It's very comfortable. And it just, to me, when I see this, it feels like I'm proud of the work that I'm doing, and it's fulfilling, and it's doing exactly what I needed to do. Can't you see from all of the cute stuff that I'm wearing? This cape, the hat, the belt,
Yes.
you know what I mean? Like,
so proud.
It's not needing any more than you can carry, you know? It's like this feeling of like satisfaction when I look at this card. And I also, when I usually, if I'm doing a reading, I'm usually doing it for myself, and I'm usually journaling, and it's usually I'll read and then I'll let an intuitive experience happen for me. And I feel like when I see this like yellow, it feels bright, it feels light, it feels whole, it feels fulfilled. This person feels happy, and like it looks like they're looking onto, like they're alone in the I mean, they're a face card, they're alone in the card, but it looks like, I don't know, I'm just feeling like a group of people in front of them, like seeing this person go through this experience. I don't know. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm feeling. And I feel like for you it makes so much sense. And for me, it just feels like owning what I got. I need to own what I got. You know what I mean? I need to like lean into it and be proud of it and be like, this is what's coming to me. This is what's coming out of me. And when people ask for my help, this is what's happening. And I'm receiving coin for it. And it's good
Yeah,
coin.
you are.
It's nice.
Yes.
So I'm gonna pull another one. I'm gonna pull one of each card. This one is a spirit card, and it's an animal card.
Ooh,
and so
yay.
I think if you could think about the person that may be watching this, and we pull a card for that person, where we're thinking about like who may be receiving our message, receiving your work, the work that you do, that they were inspired to see you on the show. They're inspired for whatever reason to see me on the show. So I'm thinking about our audience member specifically and what message they need to hear. And I want to hear from you, Ashley. Any thoughts about our guest?
Oh, sorry. What was the last thing you said?
More like just a calling to the cards for our guest.
Yes, I'm looking forward to what this card says, because I have like a guest in mind who is very much like us, looking for a little bit of guidance, navigating life, even if it's not entrepreneurship, just navigating some crossroads, navigating some life transitions, and receiving the fact that that is where a lot of our healing work comes, and it is uncomfortable.
But it's more comfortable than guessing for the rest of your life, I think.
Absolutely.
So the card that popped out is the rabbit or the hare. I don't know if it's like a rabbit. I don't know the difference between a rabbit or a hare, but it's the number 32, and it says become a wonder hunter. Let's see if we can.
Oh, that rabbit is so cute.
Like so beautiful. And she's hopping around, jumping from place to place. But she says, let's jump to her. Your ability to withstand the mundane and sometimes brutal realities of this world is in equal proportion to how well you willingly court wonder. A wise woman once taught that our work in the world is to pay attention, which is mostly standing still and learning to be astonished. Now is the time to intentionally create a space for wonder. When your heart is full of awe, it becomes a magnet for the magic that lives all around us, but is rarely glimpsed. It's time to become its partner. Embrace enchantment. Become a wonder hunter. That hit me.
Ooh,
For whatever reason, that felt really nice. What does
become a
that bring up
wonder
for you?
hunter. Oh, as soon as, well, one, I've been on this very much leaning into joy, but I'm like, ooh, wonder. I'm going to do like a deep dive about wonder because I fully receive, I know this is for our guests, but I'm like, ooh, become a
This is for
wonder
both. This is
hunter.
for all of us. This is for all of us. It's like, and for our guests too, because for whatever reason, you're watching the show because you're curious about something that's happening in your current reality. And so, like, it's also for us. You showed up, Ashley, because you were like, I'm willing to adjust my schedule to have this conversation, to participate in this experience with Amanda. But, like, also, this is for you. Like, if I think if all of us just see the world see the world with a little bit more wonder, but also have the space for it. If we don't make the space for it, we're never going to see it.
Right. But yeah, wonder is, ooh, I received that. And I'm thinking about like how I can incorporate that to even today. Um, Ooh, challenge accepted for that too.
I love it.
Um, I love that.
And for me, it's like, and the card was like hopping around, like I dropped it twice, and like I'm seeing this rabbit, and in the image, it's like forest, and there's like a dragonfly, and like hearts and pearls and things like that. And it's like some of it is experiencing the wonder of the world, and I think some of it's also like creating the wonder of the world. So like doing something a little different. Like for me, it's like I don't know why the black eyeliner is such a big deal, but it is in my spirit. And I'm like, I wonder what would happen if I believed that I am in the right place at the right time. I wonder what would happen
Yes.
if I did this thing that my body's asking me to do. I wonder what would happen if I rested. I wonder what would happen if I felt pride instead of fear, or pride instead of guilt, about the stuff I didn't do, but pride for the things that I did do. I don't know. Those are the things that are like, it's just kind of bouncing around in my brain. But
I, I love all of that. I journal too when I pull a card. So like I love that you're taking your journaling thought processes and saying them out loud.
mhm,
Because that's really powerful. Like to live in that state of wonder, but also be able to verbalize what that looks like and put that challenge out there for us too. As soon as you were talking about doing your eyeliner, and I'm like, yeah, I have this is random, but like I try to be really intentional about wearing the color green. And I was like, I don't know what I'm wearing for Amanda's show today. And I ordered stuff for our upcoming trip. And so I literally have like a cutout romper on now, but I was like, well, nobody's going to see.
the
Like,
bottom
I
half,
haven't shaved my legs.
who
Like,
cares?
but at least I got this top, like really cute part going on.
It's so
So
cute.
thank you, taking the time to do that. So I love that you're talking about that, right? Like, what's something a little bit different that we could do and incorporate into our day that normally we wouldn't do? Um, and how are we experiencing wonder in the world? As soon as you pulled the rabbit too, it made me a little nostalgic because during COVID, we're just stuck in the house, and I feel
Yeah.
like I became a nature watcher. And there was a bunny named oh shoot, what did we name him? It'll come back to me. There was a
Yeah. Yeah.
bunny, groundhog, and lots of like various birds that were
That lived it.
outside.
Okay.
Um, so it was like something that we just looked forward to every day. Like, are we going to see this bunny? Are we going to see Chance was the groundhog's name? Are we going to
Okay.
see Chance today? Bungie was the bunny's name.
Bungie the
Bungie.
bunny.
Are we going to see Bungie today? So like it was very very nostalgic too because I'm like, oh, I miss seeing Bungie. Like I miss just like sitting still enough and looking out the window long enough to maybe get a glimpse of Bungie and Chance because they're part of nature. And I really was able to start to really slow down and embrace nature during that time. So yeah, I love that the rabbit came up as an animal, as our animal card. That's pretty cool.
We had oh my gosh. My sister rescued a bunny and she named him Chase. So it's interesting that yours was Chance and hers was Chase. And like rabbits and bunnies are such an interesting animal because they're not like emotive on their face, but they're emotive in their body and they like stomp their feet when they're like being aggressive. So like if they don't like something or they like want to like do that to you, they'll like stomp their foot really hard, just one foot, make a loud thump. That's where like thumper came from. And like it's just such an interesting way of like they show their emotion through their bodily actions instead of like through facial. They're not like gonna smile or like make a frowny face. They're not gonna do that. And they don't really make many noises. They make some noises, but like not in like they make like chewing sounds and things like that. And I do think they shriek. They do shriek if they're hurt. My sister had 2 bunnies after that one, and one of them bit the other one, and she heard like a shrill like scream. She's like, I thought it was a person, but like it's just such an interesting animal, and like they're just so, I don't know, they're a little calculated, and also like still like not skittish, but they are skittish because they are like but like when they're comfortable and calm, they're like I don't know, they're like little dolls. They look very like they're so cute. But I do think there's like the story of the tortoise and the hare when they talk about the hare, and I feel like I'm in that space where I'm like running. But if you watch a real rabbit or hare, they are very good at being still in sprints. They'll be really, really fast and they'll bounce around, and then they're really good at just being like crazy still. And then they go back into their sprints again. And so maybe for me, it's more of like embracing my like cycle and embracing like the speed at which I'm going. I don't know.
I love that, building in some time to recuperate. So yes, there are high times that are busy for sure.
Yeah.
But building that time in to recuperate afterwards, and even before, just that like kind of padding of, okay, I know it's a sprint, but the sprint cannot be maintained.
The sprint can't be during the marathon. Right, exactly. But also like embracing the sprint when it's happening, because I know the sprint's coming, but I always act surprised. I'm always like, how did this happen? Oh yeah. And not being shocked by it, and then allowing the rest that's needed and required afterwards. I think it's like, so important. Okay, one more card. And this is just going to be, okay, well, we're not going to do all of those.
I love that they're jumping out.
This was like a stack, but one flipped upside down. This is the Muse deck. And it's kind of like a regular tarot deck, but instead of swords and cups, it's materials and emotions and voices. What are all of them? Inspiration is one, emotions is another, materials is pentacles, and then voices is the other card. So instead of all of the normal suits, it's a little different. So we got the 5 of emotions.
Is that a wand?
She's kind of is giving like Elsa vibes.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
That's like, I really love the art on this also. So Elsa came to mind right away, but Elsa is a Capricorn in the spirit of Disney princesses and their astrology. But 5 of emotions says processing sadness or grief, lost, getting stuck in a negative pattern or emotion, not seeking the way out, crying over spilled milk, learned helplessness, becoming enamored of the shadow, and a time to find new hope. And the prompt is stolen life force. There's a lot more to it. It's kind of long. I don't want to read the whole thing, but it is kind of saying like, I'm just going to read it. I'm like
Okay.
fumbling through it. It says, when all the world feels like ice, the five of emotions knows that we have drifted away from our emotions once more. We grow cold, hard, and distant. And she knows that there is work to be done in order for us to find our hearts again. It is just so easy to feel numb and sterile. She knows that underneath it all, we miss the tender aching for joy. And it's italicized. For our own hearts. She feels it for all of us, all the hurt, all the sadness, all the grief, and all the love, laughter, and hopefulness. So she holds it. She holds on to the ice for us, warming it with her empathy of sunshine, and she melts it into drops of tears. She asks you to open your heart as its vast ocean will overflow with all of the things that you need to feel so that you can smile brightly once more. Processing is a process. Feel into the feelings so that you can heal.
Oh, what a tearjerker.
Right? I'm like, oh, why? But I mean, everything that you're doing is like literally, you're like that woman for so many people. Where you're like, oh, remember the joy and the brightness of life and like creating space for other people to just like feel, you know?
Yeah, I received that because I mean this work came from a breakdown though. Like it came
Yeah.
from that ice place, that sad place, that broken place, that hurt place. And so I love that and I'm still grieving a little bit, a lot of it, or different things. My grandmother passed last year, and there's a lot of things going on in my life that I'm grieving too. But I love that the reminder that you can experience joy still in grief, and in sadness, I think is so powerful. And as soon as you started talking, I was like, sadness is probably the hardest emotion for me to show externally,
Yeah.
in my when I'm alone, yes, but like
Yes.
just that one is definitely one that is hard to express outwardly. And that's work that I've been working on and doing, and it's a thing.
It's part of the process.
It's
Yes.
part of the process. So I love that that came up because it's a good reminder to all of us. Like, yeah, you may see me smiling and I'm bringing positivity and bright, right, to your life, but I am fully human. I experience all the emotions, and
Mhm.
I am sad sometimes, and I am in a grief is a cycle and a wave. So from moment to moment, we can experience those different levels of grief.
Mhm.
So I love that card so much because it gives the opportunity for us to talk about that part too. Like it is not all sunshine and rainbows over here.
But it's like through those experiences, we get beautiful things like clouds and shade. And I think something that was interesting for me in that card was that like talking about the obsession with shadow and like hiding it. And for me, when I'm feeling sadness or feeling lost or feeling grief or any of those emotions that are like not on the surface, like palatable for other people to consume, I usually like go to hermit mode. And I've been seeing it happen. Like, I don't post online. I don't go outside. I don't go do a lot of things. I'll just stay in and I'll sit in it and I'll sit in it by myself. And I don't ask for help. I don't ask for someone to like pull me out. And even with my husband, I'm like, I'll say it under my breath where I'm like, I'm so used to processing by myself. Like, and when I was a young person growing up in a household of 8 people, like I would just lock myself in the closet. That was literally what I would do. And I would just draw and write poetry in the closet. In my childhood home, all of my closet is literally covered with like, I would just tape them on the wall. But it was like
Oh, I love that.
very like a lot of it was sad. A lot of it was like teen angsty energy, but like
Yes.
you walk into this like closed room and there's like sad poetry everywhere. And it's like, oh, okay, once I get out of the room, then we just, we're this other version of ourselves. And it's, and that was like the lesson I feel like I was pushing myself into. Like, you go in the closet, you hide, you get it all out, you do it alone, which is not the direction that I want my life to go in. Because as I'm getting older, I'm like, some of these shitty feelings that I'm feeling about entrepreneurship and transitioning, I can't be the only person feeling these feelings.
You are not.
I know I'm not. And people walk into Bamboo every day and they're like, I'm lonely. And like, what was the process of them like getting from the point of like knowing and realizing they're lonely to like looking up the place, finding Bamboo, getting the courage to book the time and actually walking in? Those are all like so much deeper than just being like, I'm here to get a membership so I can be in community. Like, there's so much shit that came before that,
Right.
And
the recognition. Yeah, the recognition that we're not meant to be in isolation. Like, we've evolved socially into that space, and it's really detrimental. Like, us as a human species, like, we are not meant to be in isolation. We're actually meant to be and live in community. And so part of why we have the breakdown or the overwhelm is because we're in isolation, because we are trying to carry so much by ourselves, and we're just not meant to do that. We're actually meant to live intergenerationally. We should know our neighbors, we should know our community, because they're the ones who help when things are going on. They're the ones who would lend advice, who would take care of your kids, who would be the caretaker for the elders. Like, there's this evolution that's happened in the past, really like only 100 or so years, that has led us to be in isolation and have to process and hide and feel shame about our feelings versus being and living in community. That's a whole other
podcast episode that we could go.
Podcast.
But I do believe in that, and I have to practice what I preach, because I'm creating space and community, and I'm feeling like alone in the community that, not the community that I've built, but it's like, I'm making the space for everybody else and I forget a seat for myself, and it's like, what are we doing if we're not like including everybody, including the person that's organizing? And so I think there's there's a lot of processing that I have to do there to get to that point. But I think this is all a part of that healing journey, and remembering that, like, we have abundance flowing to us. And so long as we remember the wonder, if we go back to the card of who we are and the world that we're operating in, that some of that stuff won't feel so lonely, But that felt really good. I'm really grateful that you let me experiment with you on the show.
It was amazing.
You're amazing. I have 2 final questions for you. So 1, where can everybody find you on the internet and your work and all the stuff, and book you and all that beautiful stuff?
I love it. The best place to start would be Instagram or LinkedIn. That's where I'm most active. So my Instagram is burn.bright.not.out. Yes, I know, Instagram.
It's great.
It's great. And then I am Ashley Burton-Mims on LinkedIn. I'm one of one, should be pretty easy to find. I do have a website, emeraldandrose.com. You can book coaching sessions on there, but my events, like my workshops and things, the best place to go is either Instagram or LinkedIn as your starting place. And then the link to my Linktree is on there, because the Linktree link, I don't know what that is, but you'll it's there, and everything is up to date on there. So I'd love to connect with you, book a free consultation, and we can chat.
I love it. And what is the last question? What is your last piece of advice for our guest with us today?
Do less.
Any you want to expound on that a little?
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
I'm laughing because last night at the event that I was at, this gentleman was we were chatting, and he was like, everybody wants to work more, and that's overrated. We should, and I was like, yes, we should be doing less, especially as women. This big reminder that our C level work, so if we're giving ourselves a letter grade, is most people's A work. So you could be doing less and still be thriving, still be contributing. There's a lot of invisible emotional labor that we do as women, that goes unnoticed. And so, yes, you can please do less. And also have a slow morning if you can, whatever that looks like for you.
I love it. I love it so much. And I love you. I'm so grateful that we
I love
met
you
and
too.
connected. I'm so grateful that you walked into Bamboo that day because, like, the second you walked in, I was like, I'm going to go talk to her. I'm going to
The
go
feeling
chat.
is mutual. I was like, who is this lady?
I
And like, you have the best name. I was like,
know.
Amanda
Thank you.
Sweet. And my
Thank my
daughter
parents.
said, oh, I forgot to pass along a message. She said, oh, you're going to be talking to my friend this morning. So
Oh, yes, you are talking to her friend this morning.
it's really
Oh,
sweet.
she's so sweet. I love it. That's beautiful. And I'm gonna call and ask for help. We could co-work a couple times again. I think that would be really,
Yes.
really fun. But I'm taking so much of your advice in. It's like call on your community, call on your friends. Like people call me all the time and I love it. It fills me up when people call me and they're like, I just need some advice. Like that fills me up. And so like I should also be on the other side of that and be like, hey, just
Absolutely.
talk to me because I need some love and some advice. And
Well, and
sure,
people want to do that for you.
yes,
They
exactly.
absolutely want to do it for you, and they're going to be so excited to help in any way that you ask. So I can guarantee that, like,
I can
it's
feel it. I know it. I know it. And I think I just need to get over my ass and just do over the ego stuff, over the like the titles, the words, the expectations, the preconceived notions. I just need to get over all of that stuff because all of that stuff is standing in the way of my joy, truthfully.
yes, yes. You've already planted and watered, and now it's time to receive.
I know, and I for some reason I'm struggling with that. But I know where it lies. I'm like feeling in parts of my body. I know where it is, and I think I just need to put that stuff down. And that goes for all of you too. It's like you're allowed to put stuff down and you're allowed to just be like, okay, that doesn't serve me anymore. And today I'm going to wear black eyeliner.
That's right. And a whole romper, like I'm going to the beach.
Yes, you are. You are. Because you're about to
I am.
go on a trip. So,
I am.
exactly. It makes
So it's
sense.
a test run.
Exactly. Like, do I like it? Does it feel comfy? Yes. We're going to
Yeah.
the beach. I love it. I love you so much, Ashley. Thank you so much for creating space for us this morning. I
Of
know this is out of your
course.
routine. So, thank you so, so
That's
much.
okay. I'm about to lay down. So
I love it. I love it so much. And thank you for watching and joining us on the Let's Glow show every single week. Sometimes we have some weeks off. So every couple weeks, we're here. We're doing the things. We have a clothing swap festival. The revamp is coming up September 13th. So not this Saturday, but the Saturday after that. So get your bags ready. It's $25. There's 2 stages, amazing artists, amazing musicians. There's going to be so many clothes. So tell a friend to bring a friend and come ready to swap. We love you. We can't wait to see you. This is Amanda Sweet and Ashley Burton-Mims, and we will see you next week.
bye.